Now, let us continue our journey with Light in the Dust. The day of the Altite swim run had come. A large number of participants were gathered at the starting point amidst a lively atmosphere. And the one at the center of everyone's attention was Dradulet, who had climbed atop them all. Gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank you all for participating in the Altite swim run. Please don't overexert yourselves and prioritize your health when taking part in the swim run. Now, let me explain the course. First, about the route, it's the same as before and has been shared in advance, so we're good there. If you'd like to check, there's a map at each checkpoint, so please confirm for yourselves there. And there will be 4 checkpoints in total. The first checkpoint is located on the lakeshore, a short distance from Altite here. The second checkpoint is at Alulatinon Resort. The third checkpoint is in the desert, across the sea, by swimming from Alulatinon Resort. And the final 4th checkpoint is in the desert oasis. But please note that if you do not pass each checkpoint properly, you will be disqualified. And know that as supervisor, Nemes will be working alongside participants to ensure there is no cheating. Next, at every checkpoint, quizzes will be presented by special guests. You will use the answer buttons handed out earlier then, so please be careful not to lose them. At Dradulet's warning, all participants lowered their eyes to their answer buttons. Oh. Granrit's left leg and Patroci's left arm. I see. I was wondering what these were when we were suddenly handed out to us after gathering here. So it happens to be a necessary item for this swim run. But why did that put buttons on our weapons, I wonder? Mine's like a crossbow and yours has an armor appearance to it. This could perhaps be a special type of quiz, I wonder. A special type? Could it be that we can get a correct answer by defeating monsters or something? I'm sure it'll be dangerous, but we can't refuse it, can we? Patroci made a grim face at Granrit's word before looking up to the sky. By the way, if you lose the buzzer round or give an incorrect answer, you will be penalized. Specifically, you will be asked to wait at the checkpoint for a certain period of time, so remember that. And at the final checkpoint will be a question posed by Nemes himself. If you cannot answer this, you cannot proceed. In other words, you will not be able to reach the goal. Furthermore, once Nemes has determined the sun has set, the swim run ends there and then. Please keep all this in mind when competing. Huh? Hey, how's that and any of that fair? Nothing was said about that beforehand, especially during the opening ceremony. So, we're just gonna get held up until the 3rd checkpoint? And why is the end like that? I mean, this is the first time we're doing this, so why do you have to be so strict? If you want to try something, you should have told us about it more in advance. Confusion and dissatisfaction began to surface at the sudden announcement. Seeing the participants' reactions, Granrit and Patroci's expression clouded over slightly. Seems what we feared is coming to pass. Competition itself could very well be ruined by the questions. It's still only just a possibility. As Granrit and Patroci were exchanging words in a hushed tone. Too tough? So, does that mean you are not confident you will be able to answer my riddles? Nemes, who appeared out of nowhere in front of the starting line, smiled defiantly. If you're going to participate, you must be prepared to overcome any hardships, don't you think? And you want to win this championship, do you not? Then come and challenge my riddles. That's how Nemes provoked the participants. Then, the next moment, shouts of enthusiasm and anger erupted from all directions. Damn it, don't underestimate us, we'll solve that riddle in no time. Let's do this! We've got this beat. No way we're letting anyone else take the competition. Seeing such menacing demeanor, Nemes grinned and walked off the course. Then Dradolit, who had been watching, raised a blank firing gun high above his head. Alright then, to your places. Let the Altite swim run begin. Go! Fireworks were launched to signal the start. Then at the same time, the participants exploded off the line. Come on, let's get going too! Granite and Patrosi also started running, following to the right of the leading team. Then after running through the town of Altite, when they reached the road leading to Alolatinon, Granite and Patrosi were successfully in line with the leading group as they progressed smoothly. The team in first is pretty fast, but as for the group behind them, we're making great pace still. This is definitely the result of our tough training. Granite glanced over at his partner. Okay, Patrosi still seems to have plenty of energy left. But how smoothly everything's gone, completing the course shouldn't be a problem. The problem will be the riddles at the checkpoints more so than the other obstacles. It was around when he was thinking this, when a shadow suddenly appeared from the dust cloud being kicked up by the leading group. Doubting the innocent. Huh? And keeping the truth away. Who is it? What? What are you doing here? Whispering this as he was caught off guard, Granite stopped in his track in surprise. Patrosi, noticing something was wrong, also slowed down as he was running beside Granite. Then, immediately after the cloud of dust swirled between the two of them, Nemes vanished. Was that Nemes just now? What in the world was he doing here? So, is he a member of the Shitsuokai after all? So then, he's just provoking us as he keeps constant watch on us, waiting for us to reach the wisdom gates. Granite? What's wrong? It's nothing. Anyway, his purpose is unclear. No starting point for deduction. So it's pointless to pay it any mind. We're getting left behind, so let's hurry up ahead. Yeah, you're right. Patrosi nodded and immediately began running as they resumed the race. Granite was following after him closely, of course. That riddle from earlier, doubting the innocent, hiding the truth away. All these words evoke the idea of a wrongful conviction. It's hard to believe, but could Nemes know about my father? Suspicion began to grow in Granite's mind. Ooh. Then Granite and Patrosi reached the lakeshore where the first checkpoint was located. Gabu? What are you doing here? Welcome to Checkpoint 1. A person appeared to be a special guest who was enthusiastically waving, welcoming in participants. Huh? Is that Gabu? Oh, Patrosi, it's been a long time, huh? I can finally do Gabu's voice! Gabu? Are you the same Gabu that's been traveling around with Kun? Yeah, I'm indeed traveling Kun, but who might you be? I'm Granroot. I'm a friend of Kun's. Oh, you're the detective, Granroot. I've heard rumors about the accuracy of your deductions. It's a great honor to be able to meet you. The pleasure's all mine. I look forward to speaking more with you. Kun really does know a lot of people. Thinking about it again. It's because he's traveled all over Vestria. Guess you're right, but Gabu, I never expected you to be one of the special guests. What a coincidence, huh? I was surprised too during the opening ceremony. But I will still be giving my all on these quiz questions, even to people I already know. Please do so. We have no intention of winning by cheating. Gabu nodded empathetically at Patrosi's words. Then calling out to a pair who had caught up, he cried out cheerfully. Alright, we'll have you compete in a quick answer multiple choice question. Here we go. Long ago, in this area there was a custom of giving rings that connected souls. But to who were these rings intended? What am I looking... Let me tell you the options. 1. A child setting off on a journey. 2. The leader of a town. 3. Soldiers departing on a journey. 4. Hunters to slay monsters. Now, which is the correct answer? A custom of giving rings that connect souls. Have I even heard about that? I'm not sure if I have. Yeah, definitely haven't. Hey. While his opponents were saying this, Granite suddenly realized something, slamming his answer button. The pleasant sound focused everyone's attention on Granite. The answer is 1. Children setting off on a journey. Oh, that's correct! Surprised you knew that! Actually, I came across a passage exactly about this in a book I bought the other day. I just happened to remember it. Among all of those books, I'm surprised you could latch onto something like that. I'm a detective, after all. Seems to have a good eye for people. Saying this, Patrosi lightly patted Granite's shoulder several times. Granite didn't seem entirely opposed to this, looking in the direction they were headed with a smile. And then... Well then, we'll be going ahead. We should have read some books as well. Good luck to the both of you! They said farewell to their held-up opponents as well as Gabu. Leaving them behind, Granite and Patrosi set off towards their next checkpoint. Alright, so this chapter is called Detective of Recollections. The previous chapter was called Light of the Dusk, I think. Yeah, Light of the Dusk. Having easily passed the first checkpoint, Granite and Patrosi quickly caught up to the lead. After running for a while, a familiar scene then greeted them. Oh, finally, a road we're familiar with. Yeah, thought it's gotten all the more hotter. We're still good. It's actually cool for this area. The pair laughed as they exchanged light-hearted banter. There were some participants who were equally unfazed by the heat. However, many others looked disheartened by the scorching sun and heat, slowing their pace. Looking at the other pairs, being able to run steadily here makes it feel like we have a big advantage. I'm sure I'm glad I went along with your idea. Great, detective. And we should be grateful for meeting Dex too. Absolutely. And so they nimbly took over one group, then another, and entered the white sandy beach. I can see it now. Checkpoint 2. As Patrosi said, there seemed to be something resembling a large aquarium a short distance away. I didn't see it during our stay at all. Seems like it was put together in the last few days. Kinda looking forward to seeing what it is exactly. Oh, it's Manaya Kalani! Aloha! Upon arriving at Checkpoint 2, they were greeted by Manaya Kalani. Oh, it's you? As you might have guessed, I'll be the one giving you your question. Here, have a lay. Wow! Manaya Kalani placed large wreaths of flowers native to Alolatinan around their necks. He then cleared his throat before raising his bright, cheerful voice. Alright, congratulations on reaching the checkpoint. Here, I'm in charge of... Ta-da! A fishing quiz where you'll answer by catching fish from the sea. A fishing quiz? I see. So this was a giant fish farm. But how do we answer by fishing? There are fish swimming around with problem numbers on them. Try fishing for them with this. Manaya Kalani said this as he took out the fishing rods, handing them to Granite and Patrosi. Oh, this is unexpected. Granite, do you know how to fish? No, unfortunately, I have no experience in fishing. How about you, Patrosi? I'm a food critic, you know. Eating is my specialty. So no experience. That being considered, it seems we're in a pretty disadvantageous position. Granite glanced over at the participants who had already taken on the quiz. No one was getting any bites, creating a scene that made it hard to believe it was a resort town. Seems the fishing isn't going well, but perhaps that's a good thing for us fishing novice. So you're saying we should hope for some beginner's luck? That's right, it might end up being a waste of time though. Saying this, Granite approached the fishing tank. Watching him go, Patrosi groaned softly and glanced towards Manai Kalani. Hey, Manai Kalani. Huh? What is it? Do I absolutely have to use a fishing rod? Not at all. If you can free dive or have equipment smaller than your body, you can dive it in and catch fish directly. So we are limited, but is it okay for us to use other tools, huh? If that's the case... Patrosi shifted his gaze to his left arm as he had just thought of something. And then, after thinking for a few seconds, he went to open his mouth to speak, but... Hakuma? I'm Hakuma! Hey, hold on a second! Hakuma, what are you slacking off for? A certain pair came to the edge of the fishing pond, engaging in a noisy exchange. Come on, Hakuma, hurry up and catch a fish already! Why should I take orders from you? Hey, hold on a second. Whoever catches a fish will get a pair of tickets to the Alolotinian Resort, right? Well, what did you say? I've never heard anything about that. What a lively pair. Granite gave a wry smile while Patrosi shook his head and shrugged. Looks like they haven't changed. After saying this, Patrosi continued walking towards the fishing tank. Seems the situation is pretty much at a standstill all around. So if you want to outmaneuver everyone, now's our chance. Patrosi? Granite blinked and tilted his head in surprise as Patrosi suddenly began warming up. But without responding to Granite's call, Patrosi shouted as he ran towards the fishing tank. And then... Ha! What? He jumped in! Granite wasn't the only who was surprised. The others, including Excalibur and Akuma who had stopped arguing, were captivated by his splash. And soon, Patrosi moved through the water, ready to take his next action. I need to target a large, slow-moving fish. Patrosi raised the crossbow attached to his arm, taking aim at a leisurely swimming fish. Then, the moment the fish was swimming in a direction parallel to his own, Patrosi shot an arrow at its dorsal fin. Ooh, dorsal? Huh, you better not be one of those whalers, Patrosi. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to call the Leviathan for that, but yeah. Now! The moment the arrow pierced its fins, Patrosi swam to catch the fish, whose movements were slowed. Then as he grabbed the fish's gills, he floated to the surface. Granroot! When he surfaced, Patrosi threw the fish with all his might. The fish's body then jetted out of the water with great force as it traced an arc in the air. How did you do that, Patrosi? Golly. Oh, yes, we got one! Perfect, Granite. I appreciate your perceptiveness. Patrosi gave a thumbs up to Granite, who had caught the fish. He pushed his wet hair back as a smile came across his lips. I was a little worried what you might be trying to do when you jumped into the tank. But that was magnificent, though I feel a little sorry for the fish. You better be sorry, Patrosi, because let's not mess with the Leviathan can be coming around here and attacking you as well, Its dorsal fin was visibly split open, as if it had been ripped during the process. Oh my goodness. Nothing to worry about. This fish's dorsal fin will regenerate quickly. Better be. Sorry. Listen. It's orca things, but you know. You think so? Yeah, moreover, my weapons may be capable of firing arrows, but its power is reduced in water, therefore it should have only caused minimal damage. I mean, it was my first time using this weapon, so I'm just glad it worked as I intended. Patrosi said this climbing out of the fish tank, and hearing him, Manai Kalani clapped his hands. Wow, so amazing! And thank you for keeping the fish itself in mind as well. Just did what I thought I should. More importantly, what's the question number, Granroot? Number 16, Manai Kalani, please give us the question. Sure, here's your question. The Godwelt oyster, which lives in the sea near Alolotinen, never opens its mouth in front of people. There's one sound that will elicit a response. Now what exactly is that sound? What is this? 1. Thunder. 2. The sound of a baby crying. Why is that sound? That soundtrack. An eerie singing voice. 4. The sound of battleship gunfire. I don't know. He asked in a cheerful tone as Granite closed his eyes and crossed his arms. Unfortunately, I haven't heard about this before. Sorry, but I really don't have any idea. But it being a shellfish, you probably know more about it as a food ingredient, right? Guttural oysters aren't really suitable for eating. And I don't really have any more knowledge about them other than that, but... No, wait a second. I recall hearing that the creatures inhabiting these waters have some surprising habits. There was a certain type of fish that, when sensing danger, emits a human sound to signal its presence. That's quite an unusual habit. Yeah, that's what I had a vague recollection of it. So here's the thing, it's just my speculation, but guttural oysters don't open their mouths to protect themselves from predators, right? So when such a shell opens their mouths, doesn't that mean it would be to something harmless? Which means... Yes, the answer is 2. The sound of a baby crying. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, that's correct! Amazing! When a guttural oyster hears a baby crying, it opens its mouth wide. What a mysterious and interesting habit. That's right, all creatures of the sea are like one big family. I'm sure they feel like they would have to help a crying baby. One big family, huh? Oh my god. Y'all really making Granite remember all of this. You're just giving Granite some whiplash. Seems you've learned something new. Patrosi smiled brightly and placed his hand on Granite's shoulder. But that's enough time for studying. Time for us to move on. Yeah, that's right. What the heck just happened? Anyway. And so, Granite and Patrosi were the first to depart from Checkpoint 2. Finally, they were about to tackle the swim, the highlight and most challenging part of the swim run. We did practice swimming while we were in Alotinan, of course. It's probably because you can talk during it, but it feels more lonely than running on land. But we have been swimming quite smoothly up to this point. The coast of our destination shouldn't be too far off now. This is what had crossed Granite's mind so far. Granite then suddenly felt a slight discomfort in his right leg. This is bad. My leg is starting to cramp. Oh shoot. No, oh bro. You have no idea how bad it is. Bro, getting cramp on water is bad. You think it's probably like, you think it's like, oh okay, it's probably not as bad because you're like floating, but my goodness, when you have so much freedom and you can't move, it's scary. I had it once actually. Was I getting fatigued without realizing it? Or is this because I'm not hydrated enough? Anyway, I need to tell Patrosi about this first. Granite stopped moving forward and transitioned to treading water to stay in place. He then turned to look at Patrosi, who was swimming a little behind him. However, Granite was unable to inform Patrosi of his condition. Huh! A wave like a somewhat high wall was approaching from just behind Granite. And just when he realized something was wrong, Granite ended up being swallowed by the wave. Oh no! I swallowed some seawater! I need to hurry to the surface! I need to get to the surface! Granite struggled, but the sea current entangled his weary limbs. Damn it, I'm doomed at this rate. Granite reached out his hand towards the light before then losing consciousness. Bro, who thought it was a great idea to swim from one place? Bro, that's a whole sea! What kind of competition is this? Father? In his confused state, for some reason, Granroot saw an image of his father. A voice then called out to Granroot, who was engrossed in a picture book from afar. A sweet, unique scent tickled his nose. It was the smell of baked goods his father sometimes made. Granroot knew for sure that's what this was. Yes, so nostalgic. Father. And then, just as he was about to reach out to his father appearing in his memories... Granroot was suddenly awakened back to consciousness. Granroot! Patroci's face, filled with desperation unlike anything he had seen before, was reflected in his eyes. Patroci? Thank goodness! I didn't think first aid alone would be enough. So I'm guessing that stimulant I brought just in case worked, huh? No, that doesn't matter right now. At any rate, I'm just glad you're awake. First off, I should say thank you. Thank you, Patroci. I really appreciate you. So, where are we? We were swept a little south of our destination. I guess this is what you would call a blessing in disguise. Although we've gone off course, we're not far from our next destination. I see, but I thought I was smelling a familiar scent. Oh, yes. It was like the baked snacks my father used to make. Cookies? Oh, it must have been this. Patroci said this as he showed Granroot the small vial in his hand. It contains spices commonly used in traditional cuisine. It's often used in cookies, but it's also been said for ages to be effective as a stimulant. Yeah, that's the smell. No doubt about it. So it really did work then. Guess we should be grateful to those who came before us. As Granroot listened to Patroci, he sat up. He then took a slow, deep breath. You okay now? Yeah, feel like I can get moving quicker than I expected. Bro, that's actually so dangerous, my goodness. Bro, getting cramps while at sea is actually well, in the middle of the ocean is actually the worst thing that can happen to you. Cause you're gonna be like painting, and then you'll have to be like falling under consciousness. But because you're painting, you can't fall under consciousness easily. You can't faint easily, bro. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I had swimming experiences. Really, but we mustn't be careless. If we're gonna move forward, we should take a break first. Yes, I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Granroot and Patroci then decided to rest in the shade of a tree as a gentle breeze blew. In the vast sandy plains, this is the chapter. Once they recovered a little, the pair immediately set off towards their next destination. But as they left the beach, they soon found themselves in the desert as they ran across the sand. As expected, the desert is quite difficult to run in. You sink in up to your knees into the sand in some places. Could easily say this is the most difficult part of the swim run. Yeah, but that's only if you are to remove the checkpoints, right? Might be right about that considering what we've been through so far. But have a look for yourself. Speak of the devil, and he appears, so they say. After climbing to the top of a large sand dune, a gigantic structure appeared before their eyes. So this is checkpoint 3. It's unusually conspicuous. There's nothing around it at all. Granroot said this as he slid down the sand. Patroci likewise slid slowly down the sand, not walking nor running. And when they reached the bottom of the sand dunes... Oh, our next challenger, huh? I can't believe you made it all the way to this place. So you're the one who will be posing the questions for checkpoint 3. That's right, I'm Teja. I'm not too thrilled to be doing this, but it's a way for me to make up for my past actions. I'm guessing this is something that's gonna be in the main story, so yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. I'll explain this checkpoint to you. I have no choice otherwise. The person who introduced himself as Teja begins explaining the checkpoint with a bored expression. Then an increasingly puzzled expression began to show on Granroot and Patroci's face. Well, in other words, you'll need to pour lotion over your head and jump from the slide. Then we jump into a giant steamer basket with the problem inside and answer it there, right? What? What am I reading? Golly! Simple and easy, yes? Well, it might be better than something more complicated, but... what's the point in getting covered in lotion and going down a slide? And why the streamer basket? The fishing tank at Checkpoint 2 was related to the sea, so it was easy to understand. I don't get it either, but ignorance does often lead to embarrassment. Perhaps this is a sacred ritual in this desert region. I see. There certainly are some unique and unusual cooking methods specific to each region. Or was it short-sighted of me to speak based on my preconceived notions? Oh no, what kind of sacred ritual could this even be? Of course it's not one. They have a smart way of talking, but I wonder if they're actually idiots. Taya narrowed his eyes and sighed in exasperation. Granite and Patrosi were completely unaware of what was going on in Taya's mind. The two of them immediately stood in front of the bucket filled with lotion. You really stepped up to help us earlier, Patrosi. You can leave this to me. Granite gave a confident look as he poured the lotion over himself without hesitation. Are you sure your leg is fine, though? Then, with legs trembling from the slipperiness, he climbed the stairs of the slide. He then slid down the slide once again without hesitation. However... the momentum was considerably as Granite's body launched from the slide, arching through the air. He flew straight over the giant steamer. Oh my god, that must have been in the head first. Granroot? This man is just gonna keep getting injured the whole damn race. Golly. Patrosi couldn't help but rush over as he beheld the shocking sight. Hey, Granroot, are you okay? Yeah, all good. No problem at all. You sure? But you're landing on your head. Oh my god, I was joking. He really did land on his head. This man... This is nothing. More importantly, seems I made a really basic mistake. I didn't take the angle of elevation at the end of the slide into consideration. But I understand now. Next time. Saying this, Granite washed the sand from his body with water that Teja had prepared. Once he was clean, he poured a large apparently, amount of lotion over his body once again. Here we go! He then landed headfirst once again into the sand. Granroot, you're stuck in even deeper than before! Looks like they're idiots after all. And so, after countless challenges, Granroot and Patrosi were finally able to make it into the crater. Granroot and Patrosi were finally able to make it into the giant steamer. That was more difficult than I thought. I think I spent more time drowning in desert sand than I did in seawater. By the way, sand does not operate like that, bro. It's hard. It's not as... Because the sand is together, bro, you're basically just hitting yourself on a table. But a rocky table. So you drowned, huh? I mean, you really should tone down the foolishness or you're gonna start to bore people. Foolishness? I mean, you're just... Forget about it. Seems like it's finally my turn. Okay, let's do this. This will be a question about the desert. The desert people have a traditional cradle porridge that they called Wapma Fanao. Can you get exactly what this dish names mean? Choose from these 4 options. 1. Warmth of the sand. Protector of life. Joy of the harvest. Preparation for departure. Now, answer quickly. Cradle porridge, if taken literally, it sounds like a dish for infants. Then the answer is, it must be 4. Preparation for departure, or a baby to grow up and leave the nest. Oh, but that's not possible. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But if we also need to consider the cooking progress and the dish's background information, and so Granite hesitated, unable to press the answer button on his left leg. We finally caught up! That question, we will answer it! The participant who had managed to jump into the same steamer basket cried out, and with Granite's eyes widened in confusion, the pair prepared to press their answer button. But it was Petrosi, with a different expression on his face, who took control of the situation. The answer is number 2. Petrosi answered without hesitation, and as soon as he pressed the button, Entea's eyes widened. That's the correct answer. Well done, you! Petrosi, did you perhaps already know that? He already did, Granroot, because he's a food critic! Granroot, I think you need to sit down because you have hit your head countless of times in the sand. Golly! Yeah, though I was a little late to hit the button because I was checking to make sure I was right. You worked so hard to get us this chance after all, Granroot. Couldn't let it go to waste, yeah? Lord, wouldn't you have mercy? With a grin, Petrosi continued. Wapamau, in harsh environments like this desert, a baby's life is especially fragile. This porridge is made using a variety of nutritious ingredients to protect and nourish children. In the desert, the use of high amounts of precious water in cooking is also out of consideration for them. And the softness and warmth are said to play a role in conveying a parent's love to their baby. You know your stuff. That's exactly what's written in the annotations on this quiz sheet that guy Nemes gave me. A parent's love, a child leaving home, the sound of a baby crying. What's the matter? Oh, it's nothing. I have no concrete proof yet, but... Granite shook his head. Really? Then let's move on. That alright with you? Very well. It's a competition, right? Hurry up and get going. And as for you guys who interrupted, the correct answer has been given, so you will slide again. Again? I've had enough of that slimeliness. I feel kinda bad actually. But this is a competition. We shouldn't worry about it. Granite and Petrosi had cleared checkpoint 3. As the sun began to set, the two stopped at a rest area in the middle of the desert. The swim run is finally coming to an end. Yeah, but so far, we haven't come across any issues. The staff in the break areas haven't said anything, and the people behind us seem to be doing well. That's good, really good, but I'm still bothered by that letter. There's also the matter of this Nemes guy involving himself with you earlier on. That's right, I actually often get the feeling he's been watching me from afar. But there hasn't been any interference since then. That sounds creepy. This is a troublesome situation, but I suspect he'll make a move before the final checkpoint, yeah? If Nemes really is involved with the Shitsuokai, that is. But we have no proof. In any case, Nemes will be waiting for us at the final checkpoint. Everything should become clear there. Right. This is called the Sphinx's Main. Traversing the desert after leaving the rest area, Granite and Petrosi spotted the desert's end. Granite, look! It's an oasis! Oh, so then once we get past that, we're only a stone throws from Altite. Before that, there should be a final checkpoint there. We'll have to clear that first. That's right. Let's go and see if that mask is really a symbol of the Shitsuokai. Saying this, Petrosi slightly increased his speed. And so, after reaching the oasis, the two of them looked around. There should be a final checkpoint, but it's strangely quiet. Well, we did manage to get in the lead before we knew it. I do however suppose it's quieter than the others up until now. Perhaps this is the calm before the storm. Then, at that very moment, waves suddenly began to form on the surface of the oasis lake. And the wind that created those waves gradually increased in strength. This wind! Yeah, here it comes! dust swirled up, and their visibility was quickly obscured. But this was only for a moment. The moment they blinked, the dust clouds instantly vanished. Then, in its place, two shadows stood facing Granite and Patrosi. Well done getting this far. You have continued moving forward without losing your pride. Nemes uttered in a low voice, signaling another shadow to take a step forward. Sorry. I, before you, am Uas. I shall give you your final trial in this land. When the man calling himself Uas raised his staff, a dark aura emanated from its tip up towards the sky. Immediately afterwards, Nemes snapped his fingers and it fell to the ground, creating a vortex. Then just a few seconds later, it appeared from within the vortex. A monster? Huh. Looks like the prediction I made at the start has come true. So you're saying we have to defeat it? Surely that can't be. That's right. Whoever defeats this monster will be qualified to answer my question. Now challengers, defeat the Sphinx Beast and claim that right. So this is what happens at the end. Here it comes, Patrosi! Granite and Patrosi leaped back from the sharp claws of the attacking monster. As soon as he landed, Granite crouched down, lowered his body, and get closer to the monster. Meanwhile, Patrosi pointed the crossbow on his left arm at the monster's feet. Oh, that must have been why he gave that one. I'll cover you! Feel free to charge it as you please. Counting on you, Patrosi. Their supple muscles, which had been honed over the past few weeks, are now in full force. Granite quickly closed the distance with the monster, delivering a powerful kick to its jaw. No, you don't! Several flaming arrows pierced the monster's feet, deterring its movements. The monsters ended up stumbling, creating an even larger opening. Now! As divine power concentrated in his left leg, Granite waited for his moment before he roared. I forgot they have divine power. Take this! The sand beneath Granite's feet crackled as a sharp sound cut through the air. Granite jumped up while spinning backwards, swinging his left leg with all his might. A sonic boom shining with divine power then erupted as he attacked the monster. It was undoubtedly the full force attack that would decide the battle. It was truly a technique worthy of being called a finishing move. However, it was Granite who ended up getting blown away. What in the world was that? This isn't good! Granite! Patrosi stepped in between the rolling Granite and the charging monster. Even though he fired a barrage of flaming arrows, the monsters charged forward without hesitation. And with that momentum, it tried to bite, but Patrosi's wall of fire blinded the monster. Oh, that was a close one! As fangs clashed in the void, Patrosi, using his agility honed through training, got behind the monster. He then aimed two flaming arrows at the monster's neck. Nevertheless, the monster continued its rampage, sending Patrosi flying in a different direction. The battle between the duo and the monster continued as their surroundings were bathed in twilight. This may sound like an excuse, but the effects of running and swimming to this point are starting to show. My stamina is at its limits. Slowly rising to his feet, Granite wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. And the sun is setting, so the temperature is dropping rapidly. At this rate, we're gonna lose due to a lack of stamina. Saying this, Patrosi casually ran his hand through his hair and let out a deep sigh. He then glanced over at Uas. And that monster, could it be? It's as if he had been strengthened to oppose us, those who possess divine power. So perceptive, as expected with those with such visibly powerful divine power. If he hadn't reinforced it, it would have been easily blown away at first contact. But with my own divine power, I was able to strengthen the Sphinx Beast to where it can fight back. But I wonder how it will go. Is there anything we can do? There's a quicker way. There are limits to our physical strength, so I would recommend the other option. What's the other option? We will have to clash with all our might at the same time. That would certainly be a faster way. Alright, I'll match you. Upon hearing Patroclus' words, Granite moved before he was even able to catch his breath. This was to prevent the monster from getting the upper hand and end it before the Uas can strengthen it. Granite once again concentrated his divine power in his legs and leaped at the monster's chest. Narrowly dodging its claws as he tried to intercept, Granite leapt onto its claws which were embedded in the ground, and with a fierce roar, he unleashed the divine power building in his left leg. The monster prepared for the impact by concentrating the divine power flowing to it from Uas. But this was also within Granite and Patroclus' calculations. His backside is wide open! Behind the monster, divine power and heat were rapidly swelling. The flames overflowing from his weapon illuminated their surroundings so bright it was like daytime. A deafening roar echoed immediately afterwards. Yes, a direct hit! That should do it! Granite and Patroclus walked towards Nemes, who had been watching over them from beyond the flames. Nemes' smile deepened at the sight of them, but... Don't let your guard down! The Sphinx Beast is still very much alive! Huh? At the same time, Uas cried out. The charred Sphinx Beast leaped high into the sky. And seeing this, Uas cried out once again. It's gone berserk! It has consumed too much of our divine power! That was an unexpected situation for Uas. So its opponents were that strong. This is the result of matching such extraordinary divine power. The divine power poured into it has far exceeded the limits that monster can tolerate. It's just unleashing a torrent of rampant power that'll keep going until its divine power is exhausted. Oh no! Granite, get away from there! The monster came swooping down with a high-pitched whooshing sound. It was a straightforward, unadulterated charge driven solely by his destructive impulse. If Granite had been as he was until just a moment ago, he might have been able to dodge it, but... The power in my leg! The cost of running, swimming, and now fighting with all their might for so long was now catching up. Granite collapsed to his knees as if his string had been cut. Damn it! I'm not gonna make it! Patroclus reached out his hand as he raced towards the other side of the flames. Even though he instinctively knew this was a meaningless action, he had no choice but to do so. And then, just as the monster's claws were about to pierce Granroot... Hey! A gust of wind blew. There is no need for any obstacles that could kill a challenger looking to answer my question. Suddenly, Nemes was standing before Granroot. Wow. And before anyone even noticed his presence, Nemes delivered a full force kick to the monster's face. Get lost! With Nemes' roar, a fierce wind blew, lifting the monster's body high into the sky. And in an instant, its body was torn to shreds by turbulence. That does it for the entertainment. You fought well to get this far despite your exhausted bodies. Now it's time for your question. Huh? Wait, are you sure about that? We did end up getting defeated by that monster, and the sun has already set. How tiresome. Who said so as well? That was reckless, was it not? Nemes says this, then briefly glanced over at Uas, who was standing right beside him. Yes, you are correct. This was my own oversight. Anyway, allow me to apologize again. I am truly sorry. As Uas bowed deeply, Nemes immediately began to speak. The outcome should have been decided by that last attack. That is my own assessment. That's good enough for me, so hurry now and get up. It was past twilight, and darkness had already begun to fall. With such a sky as their backdrop, Nemes extended his hand. Granra took his hand, but... Whoa! His legs lacked strength, and he fell, almost pushing Nemes over. And then, when he leaned against his chest... What? Unexpectedly, Granite's ability to read thoughts of those he had touched in the dark was activated. What's this? Among the information flowing in, there's one thing Granite was certain of. This guy, Nemes, he's no part of the Shitsuokai. Hey, how long are you gonna stay like that for? Get off me already! Oh, pardon me. Granite finally stood up and faced Nemes. He then made eye contact with Patrosi, who had rushed over to him. Then they exchanged a small nod. You seem ready. Now I'll give you your final question. Saying this, Nemes raised his finger above his head, just as he had during the opening ceremony. Grains of sand then gathered around the emitted light, with letters forming in the air. Nemes then read it aloud. There are things that leave no evidence or record, and are unexplainable, yet people risk their lives for. This is invisible to the eye, but what is certain, they're the moment a baby first cries. Hope? No evidence or record? And unexplainable, but certainly there from the moment a baby cries. Does something like that really exist? I expected something like this, but it's fundamentally completely different than those before. As Patrosi said, this is completely different from those questions about ordinary knowledge. It's a hopeless mystery with no way to solve it through conventional thinking. But remembering the questions we've answered during this swim run, each question viewed individually seemed to have no purpose or intent behind its creation. But considering them all together, you can certainly begin to see something. The light of conviction began to burn in Granite's eyes. Now, can you figure out the answer to my riddle? Answer it if you think you can. Nemes, before I answer, there's one thing I want to apologize for. What is it? It's about my special ability. I can read the thoughts of anyone I touch in the dark. In some circles, I am sometimes called the seductive detective, and names like that because of this. Anyway, when I accidentally knocked you down before, I accidentally looked into your mind. Huh? What the? Does that mean you found the answer to my riddle? No, that's not it at all. My ability merely allows me to read a part of what someone is thinking. So, I couldn't find the answer to your riddle. But it wouldn't be fair to bring this up afterwards, which is why I'm telling you first. Then go ahead and try answering. Now, what is the answer to my riddle? Nemes approached with great force. In response to Nemes, Granite took a breath and answered slowly and clearly. It is the bond of family. Oh. What? So, you read the answer after all. Are you trying to tarnish my riddles with your cheating? No, I swear on your excellent riddle-making skills that once again, that is not the case. A clear hint to this riddle would only be given to those who've cleared all the wisdom gates so far. This question conveyed such intention and attention to detail. Yes, the answers to the question so far, they all represented a relationship between parent and child. What the heck? We literally had an event about parent and child bond. Golly! Kabu's question was about giving rings that connected souls to children leaving home. Manaya Kalani's question was about how guttural oysters respond only to the sound of a baby crying. And Tea's question was about cradle porridge. And the last question, Things that leave no evidence or record and are unexplained, yet people risk their lives for. This is invisible to the eye, but what is certain there the moment the baby first cries. I should have kept in mind the second one, but yeah. Yes, but deciphering all this, the answer becomes obvious. It's the bond of a family. I can still feel the bond I had with my deceased father. My regrets about my father were never recorded, but even so, I would risk my life to prove his innocence. That is what I have sworn to myself. Now, Nemes, tell me clearly now. My answer, was it right or wrong? Granrut, you're so amazing. I guess the title of Great Detective isn't just for show. Man, that was really tricky. Patrosi raised both hands, giving a troubled smile as he looked towards Nemes. He then slowly approached him and patted him on the shoulder as if to comfort him. Then Nemes suddenly came to his senses. Huh? Damn it! Huh? Nemes cast aside his usual cool demeanor, letting out the bitterness he was feeling inside. During this process, his mask was forced off, but he was too preoccupied to even notice. Damn it! What the hell is with that? You've cleverly incorporated your own past into your answer. So unfair! How cool you're acting! Seriously, how dare you act so smug after perfectly solving my riddle? Huh? Could that be Nemes' true face? I'm sorry. Deep down, I know you were hoping to see my frustrated, asking for your guidance. But I'm a detective, you see. My job is to solve any mystery in front of me. Hey, stop acting all nonchalant! Saying this, Nemes stomped his foot, kicking up dust. Damn it! Everything's ruined! I've been looking forward to explaining my riddle while basking in feelings of superiority. I tried so hard to pretend to be this mysterious and enigmatic questionnaire. Granrut, I will never forgive you! Best you remember that! As he uttered this parting insult, Nemes stirred up a gust of wind. It was more violent than before, with the ferocity of a small child throwing a tantrum. And by the time it subsided, Nemes had vanished without a trace. What an interesting guy. Granrut and Patrosi could only joke as they each let out a dry laugh. The following day, the grand closing ceremony was being held at Altite with Dradalit as Master of Ceremonies. This year's winners for the Altite Swimrunner are... the team of Patrosi and Granrut. Congratulations! Yay! When the winners were announced, a roar of cheers so loud it shook the surrounding area erupted. Oh, I'm definitely feeling nervous with this many eyes on us. Really? I guess it is better for a detective to remain inconspicuous. I get you not being used to this. Come to think of it, you're a food critic, aren't you? Yeah, so appearing in front of people is a fairly common occurrence for me. As he descended from the stage with a smile, Patrosi nodded empathetically at the prizes he received. Just look, this is now the fine gourmet dish I supervise. Though I didn't think I would be eating this all myself. There are many other things as well, but this really takes the cake. Patrosi picked up a small bottle from among the prizes, holding up carefully. It's a rare spice cultivated only in a very small part of Crayono. Even as a food critic, I rarely get to see such a legendary delicacy as this. Though I never thought this would be among the prizes the winners get. I'm really glad I asked you to help. Thank you so much, Granrut. You're welcome. Oh, that's right. Here's your payment. I hope this works for you. Oh, that's right. The days got so intense I completely forgot. That they were. Still, I never expected things to turn out this way. It does still seem possible that Nemes may have been involved with the Shizuokai. But why did you believe him? Right. Granrut answered, choosing his words wisely. I did also initially think there was a high possibility that Shizuokai was involved, you know. There was that black envelope with the amber wax seal after all. But throughout the swimrun, I didn't sense any suspicious people. And through my ability, I also learned Nemes' true intentions, having been watching us. He simply wanted to make sure everyone passed the checkpoints he'd prepared without cheating. And he also wanted to see the happy and sad faces of everyone reacting to the questions he created. Above all, I don't think someone belonging to a criminal organization would prepare such problems. Well, who would have thought the answers along the way would be key in solving the final riddle? The structure was very similar to the puzzle books I loved when I was a child. So Nemes just seemed to love riddles, and so he packed them into the swim run. That's what I believed. And then, well, when I read his thoughts, there wasn't a single doubt about them. He was just doing what he wanted to do in the way he liked. His thoughts were that of an innocent child. I mean, that's basically how I came to the decision. It was just a hasty conclusion on my part. I see. So, in the end, it seems the seals and envelopes Nemes prepared just happened to be similar. And it seems he just sent them indiscriminately to acquaintance of Kun he found out about. The fact that Nemes chose that rare emerald colored seal wax himself, that is intriguing. Granite sighed, recalling what he heard from Excalibur and the others, who they happened across, who were what? Never imagined Nemes would be a sacred. Seems he knew Kun and the others from the beginning. If only I'd confided in them, but that probably just hindsight speaking. Anyway, seems that settles things. Patrosi said this, then smiled brightly as he took a few steps. He then threw around and raised one hand. I should get going. This whole ordeal was tough, but the rewards were great. It was a good experience. Now, this spice, I wonder how I can use it to make things taste good. I should first talk to Guy. Maybe it might be fun to come up with a new dish related to what we've discussed. Saying this, Patrosi left the scene as he hummed the tune. Granite smiled at Patrosi as he walked away, waving him off. Their quest is complete. Glad everything worked out. But what should I do about this? After letting out a sigh of relief, Granite lowered his gaze to the prize he was holding in his hands. Patrosi wasn't interested in anything other than food, so I said I would take this. Unfortunately, there's no one eccentric enough to want to enjoy a vacation with me. Just as he was finishing his sentence, he forced a worried smile. Granroot, who? Suddenly a familiar voice reached Granroot's ears. Oh? Dawntrail? Oh! Oh, okay, hold on. I know who Dawntrail is. Okay, now the thing is, there are actually two stories featuring Dawntrail, which is Dawntrail's Case Files 1 and Dawntrail Case Files 2. So yeah, anyway, I'll think about reading those past chapters, but for now I'm just doing it chronologically, so yeah. So I have no voice to speak, so I think I'm just gonna give him like a very smuggy voice. Thank goodness, I found you. I finally found you. Wait, huh? Granute, you're wearing a swimsuit? What a coincidence to meet you here. It's not a coincidence at all. But what's with that swimsuit? You've gone from the sexy detective to a super sexy detective. Oh goodness. I didn't expect you to praise me that much. Thanks, that makes me happy. Oh no, I just put about my honest opinion about Granute's sexy swimsuit. I heard you were participating in the swim run as a parry, so I was gonna join as a fellow detective. Or rather, I came to tell you that I would be happy to be your partner. Dawntrail, golly! So hey, why don't you rely on me every once in a while? Saying this, Dawntrail had a smug look on his face. Well, I do appreciate the thought, but the swim run is over. I even managed to win. Dawntrail's mouth dropped open in surprise when Granute smiled. Huh? It's over? No way, but I was looking forward to running with you in your swimsuit, Granute. What the hell? Calm down now. More importantly, there's something I wanted to give you. This was one of the prizes that the winners got. What's this? Huh? A pair of tickets to resort? No way. You sure about this? Of course. You should go ahead and invite someone you like and go together. I'm not really into this sort of thing, so just glad I could meet you here. No, what you're talking about? Let's go together, just the two of us. You and I? Oh, I see. guess that's an idea. Well then, I'll take you up on that offer. Let's go to the resort together. And just as he was about to utter this invitation, hey, there you are, Granroot! You bastard, you think I'm gonna let you get away? Today I prepared 100 riddles that you absolutely won't be able to answer. I'm going to give you all of them now. Come on and join me in the mystery. Nemes appeared like a gust of wind, speaking with incredible force. Dontrail's reaction to Nemes was faster than Granroot's. Who the hell are you? Oh, this is Nemes. We happened to just meet. Oh, really? So Nemes, this is... Hey, who the hell are you? I have business with Granroot, the self-proclaimed great detective. Don't get in my way. Get out of here. Huh? I won't let you do that. I'm Dontrail, a great detective just like Granroot. And don't you underestimate his abilities as a detective? Huh? You think you're a great detective too? Well then, try and solve my riddles. Ready? Rather than piling on words, there's a way to say everything all at once. But many fear and avoid it. What is it? Rather than piling on words, is it money or something? Idiot, wrong answer, now get out of here! Nemes says this, then kicked Dontrail in the backside with his leg enveloped in wind. Huh? Then Dontrail rolled off in the opposite direction. Nemes then spat out the answer to Dontrail. The answer is silence, you idiot. You just shut up for the rest of your life. What the? Next, give us the next riddle. Dontrail jumped up, returned with a furious expression, and aggressively charged Nemes. Nemes, with his sharp gaze, tried to intimidate and drive away Dontrail. Granroot watched over them, gently. The Shitsuake had nothing to do with this in the end, so I couldn't get closer to my father's truth. But I will definitely unravel the mystery and avenge my father's death, in order to continue being the ideal great detective that Dontrail looks up to. And so, he renewed his resolve. Huh. Aww, that was a cute little cameo with Dontrail. So, anyway, that is it for Altite Swim Contest. That is right. So, I think I already have my thoughts already after reading all this, but this is the section where we are going to be reviewing the event and sharing our thoughts with it. And in all honesty, the dialogue was not good because there's too many errors. That's the one thing I noticed. Okay, move aside that, I know. But I really do like, I'm just joking on that, by the way. It kind of does affect my experience, but you know. The event is pretty simple, but I guess I'm gonna compare this to Summer Splash: A Tropical Encounter. The thing about this this event is that it actually did show a bit of my problem with Summer Splash: A Tropical Encounter, and it actually did it in a way that was a bit unique. It showed a bit of some silliness with Granroot, and in all honesty, it was pretty good. I like how there were some moments in the middle, like especially some moments of danger, and it wasn't like there was a lot of mystery going around, and it fueled in the end, and then in the end it was all answered, but it ended up just being Granroot and Granroot's situation, and also a tie back to the obstacles and solving as a detective, being a detective, I mean. I actually do love that parallel, as well as the interaction between Granroot and Patrosi, as well as some cameos as well. Nemes is a bit interesting, I would say. He was very imposing, but I could kind of tell that he might have a bit of a silly side on him. So yeah. So I wouldn't say it's predictable, but I kind of knew a bit in the end. I like the combination of putting Granroot's story backstory into the questions as well. That was actually quite interesting. It was not directly solving an issue and then hey, we're probably gonna defeat more in the future. It was a moment for Granroot to relax and honestly think about his situation. Like, that was actually kind of good. It's a very perfect event. Like, it really was a mysterious full body challenge. It was successful. I gotta say though, the dialogue was definitely a problem. There was a lot of spelling errors and also, but I think the dialogue was pretty, but I think in terms of like me understanding what they're saying, I could see a bit of some uniqueness into it. And it does define a bit of each character really well. So yeah. So honestly, I'm not gonna give this a Eureka bonus because it's a pretty simple plot, and I'm pretty sure most stories would have had this, but I would give this probably an 8.5 out of 10. It's a pretty nice event, honestly. Congrats, and it honestly was such a huge upgrade compared to last event, which is Alpha Blaze. You know what? Congratulations. So yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this episode of Crave Saga X. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see y'all whenever. Bye bye!